In World War II, every soldier fought under a strict code of doctrine, especially the Germans. Their training was rigid, their rules were absolute. When facing an enemy, a soldier never, under any circumstance, abandoned his post or his heavy weapon. But in the crucible of the battlefield, from the fortified hedgerows of Normandy to the concrete caves of the Pacific, the United States Army deployed a weapon so brutal, so psychologically shattering, that it systematically forced German and Japanese troops to break every rule they had sworn to uphold. This is the story of the Flamethrower Tank. Not merely a weapon of fire, but the ultimate statement of US Frontline technological and psychological supremacy. The machine that turned fortified bunkers into ovens and made hardened soldiers willingly choose surrender over their duty. For the US Army, the problem wasn't the enemy. The problem was the concrete. All across the European and Pacific theaters, Axis forces perfected the art of defensive warfare. A small, thick-walled bunker, protected by feet of reinforced concrete and covered by machine gun fire, could stall an entire infantry division for days. Conventional weapons, even the 75mm cannon of the standard M for Sherman tank, struggled to breach these fortifications. Shells would often strike the slanted concrete and simply ricochet harmlessly away. The soldiers inside felt invincible. They were protected from shrapnel, small arms fire, and even high explosive rounds. This perceived invincibility was the foundation of the enemy's defense. The frontline commanders realized the American way of war based on rapid, aggressive advance was being completely paralyzed by small, static fortresses. The solution could not be more firepower. It had to be inescapability, and so America turned to its own ingenuity. Engineers began modifying the ubiquitous M for Sherman, replacing its main gun with the liquid fuel projector, creating the Satan, the Crocodile, and other variants. They were crude, heavy, and dangerous to the crews who operated them. But they were designed to do one thing: violate the enemy's ultimate sanctuary. The Flamethrower Tank was not designed to kill with a projectile. It was designed to kill with atmosphere. When the US infantry stalled, the Flamethrower Tank would advance, often facing focused anti-tank fire, because the enemy knew the danger it represented. But once it reached firing position, the psychological war began. The tank would project a blinding stream of burning, sticky fuel, sometimes traveling hundreds of yards. A bullet could miss. A bullet could be stopped by concrete. But the fire was liquid fear. It penetrated the firing slits, the exhaust vents, and every small opening. Inside the bunker, the air temperature would skyrocket, turning the fortress into a blast furnace. The men were not just facing death. They were facing a silent, searing, inescapable immolation. This is the moment the German soldiers' rigid doctrine broke. Witness accounts confirm that upon seeing the flamethrower deploy, entrenched troops frequently dropped their machine guns, threw up their hands, and ran out of the bunker's rear exits, exposing themselves to the waiting US infantry. They chose the small chance of survival over certain, burning death. The most incredible victories achieved by these tanks were not measured in steel destroyed, but in the mass surrender of previously unyielding troops. The tank had succeeded where the heavy artillery failed. It defeated the human will to fight. The strategic genius of the Flamethrower Tank was multifaceted. First, it saved countless American lives by clearing positions that would have cost days of bloody infantry fighting. Second, it provided a dramatic, visible lesson to the enemy. America's industrial might could not only match their defense, but punish their reliance on it. This single weapon reinforced the ultimate statement of US frontline logistics. Not only could America supply its troops with standard M for tanks, but it could produce and supply specialized instruments of terror in numbers the enemy could never match. The enemy was defeated not just by fire, but by the cold, hard realization that the United States had a decisive counter for every defensive measure they could devise. The Flamethrower Tank forced the German and Japanese troops to choose between their rules and their lives. The choice they made proved that the psychological shock of American ingenuity was the true final weapon of the Second World War. If you want to witness more shocking examples of American ingenuity and the weapons that broke the enemy's will to fight, then you are exactly where you need to be. Hit the like button right now to signal the algorithm that this history is worth sharing. And most importantly, subscribe to WW to Chronicles, USA Frontline, and ring the bell, so you never miss the true, untold stories of American supremacy that ended the war.